The U.S. Defense Department confirmed that Iran fired multiple short and medium-range missiles at Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar. At this time, there are no reports of U.S. casualties. The Pentagon has indicated in a statement. It added, "We are monitoring this situation closely." Let's talk to our correspondent, Susan Tehrani, who's now joining us on the phone. Is there any further details coming from the White House, Susan?
The White House sources are telling CNN here that President Trump does not plan to retaliate and for the most part has seen this attack as being quote-unquote theatrical. On background, U.S. officials said that after Iran fires a few missiles at U.S. bases in the Gulf, now they're saying that the president has no intention of retaliatory military strikes against Iran following, quote, its failed retaliation strike, which they described as largely being, quote-unquote, theatrical. We are also hearing reports that President Trump has no desire to go back into Iran militarily, and he continues to say that the avenues of dialogue and negotiation continue to be open.
All right, Susan, this is the latest development that we are getting in our newsroom. Oil prices have fallen 5% after Iran attacked U.S. military base. Oil prices sunk more than 5% after Iran attacked a U.S. military base in neighboring Qatar in retaliation for U.S. weekend strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. Remember, just hours earlier, U.S. President Donald Trump asked to keep the prices low and urged countries not to play right into the hands of Iran. Have we heard from the president yet? Because he had a series of posts on Truth Social earlier in the day. Susan.
We did. We have. And now we are, there's a recent Truth Social post right now where he's going after the legacy media here in the United States, and he's basically saying that it's fake news that the nuclear sites that the United States targeted weren't completely destroyed and that Iran doesn't pose a nuclear threat. He says that it's inaccurate and fake news to say anything otherwise. For example, you know, there were reports that how successful these attacks were or not. Now, it's not clear whether or not he just received intelligence on the damage assessment, and that's why he's putting out these posts. But nonetheless, that's the latest we've heard from the president. We still are waiting to hear officially from the White House, and if we get any news from that national security meeting that started at around 1 p.m. local time here.
Susan Tehrani is our correspondent in New York. Dharamjot Kaur is our correspondent in the newsroom. Dharamjot Kaur, I'll go back to you. Is there any new development?
Well, Eric, Abu Dhabi-based Etihad Airways has now said that it is rerouting several flights on June 23rd and June 24th in response to airspace restrictions in part of West Asia. This is the latest airline to now take a call with respect to rerouting and diverting its flights after several countries have shut their airspace temporarily at the moment. This follows after Air India Express, Indigo Airlines, Pakistan Airlines and Egypt Air have already put out certain similar statements issuing travel advisories and asking passengers to ensure that they keep checking their flight status, because there is going to be an impact with respect to delays of flights, with respect to flights being rerouted or even possibly cancelled. The ones that are mid-air are definitely rerouting at the moment as the situation developed within just a few moments, as we saw on Air Eric. So Abu Dhabi-based Etihad Airways is now the fifth airline to make a statement with respect to the changing situation and how passengers now need to be on alert to ensure that any upcoming flights that they have to take, they need to make sure they keep in check with respect to any delay that might happen. Eric?
All right, it looks like things have quieted down, DJ, don't you think?
Well, that's right, Eric. As we've been talking, we saw about, a few minutes of complete action when Iran launched its retaliatory strike, particularly targeting America's biggest military base, which is in Doha in Qatar. But as you mentioned, things have quieted down for now. There is no more active strike happening at the moment. Is there going to be spillover impact and ramifications? That is something that needs to be witnessed. We're already seeing impact on the markets. Oil prices falling by over 5%, as you rightly mentioned a short while back. There is going to be logistical impact with respect to the airlines that are now having to reroute and delay their flights. But apart from this, it remains to be seen how the situation escalates. As my colleague Susan pointed out, within the White House, there is discussion with respect to and reluctance on part of the U.S. president not wanting to take any further action. So will or will not Iran target any other U.S. military base in West Asia and the entire region? U.S. has over 19 bases in the entire region, although the base in Qatar is the biggest one, but still there are other significant bases with thousands of troops that are present at those locations. Although there are no casualties at the moment, the level of impact is yet to be ascertained. So it is now in Iran's hand and also in America's hand with respect to how they approach the situation further. Are we going to see an escalation, or is it now time to de-escalate matters militarily and come back to the negotiation table? So this is where things stand at the moment, Eric.
Dharamjot Kaur is our correspondent. She is in the newsroom. Dharamjot Kaur, I will let you go for now so that you can keep tabs on what is happening and the latest developments coming in our newsroom. Thanks, DJ.